Which of these three knives is better? Which one's better? I think you probably have a preconceived notion which one you think is better, and probably can guess which one I think is better. But the point of this video is to dive a little bit deeper into the concept of what is better? What does that mean? And is it subjective or is it objective? Can we really say which one of these knives is objectively better without imposing our own bias or without imposing our own kind of what we're into or what ideologies we support or hate? Is there one that's better? And let's see if we can figure it out together. Because honestly, I've got some ideas, but I don't know exactly where this video is going to go. It's more of a conversation, an idea thing, and I would like you guys to participate, if you can, in the comments down below. If you're coming across this video from nowhere, please subscribe so that you can see more stuff like this and help me out. It really, really does. Even if you don't watch any more of my videos, if you just hit subscribe, you're just doing me a super big solid, and I really appreciate it. Also, if you want to save 10% at thehollowgrind.com, use code Carter. That's my name. You can save 10%. I'm not being paid by them. I just really like those guys, and they did give me a cool 10% code that I can give to you guys. 10%'s pretty big, in my opinion. Like that's a pretty big discount for knives. They've got autos, manuals, all kinds of stuff. Check them out. So, first off, let's preemptively, what kind of even got me thinking about this? Well, I picked up this Engage. So this is the Engage from Cold Steel, S35 VN steel. It's made in Taiwan, G10 contoured handles, steel pocket clip, steel locking mechanism, the Atlas lock right there, thumb stud deployment, left hand, right hand, ambidextrous, all kinds of cool stuff. But I picked this up. I hadn't held it in a few weeks, and the action on this knife is arguably the best action on any manual folder that I have. Now, it's hard to quantify that because is it the most drop shutty? No, it is. You got to kind of shake it. It's just the smoothest. And I would say, if I have to think about it, it's not only is it really smooth, there's no grit, there's no choppiness, it doesn't jump around if you slow roll it open, but it's also very consistent. From the second you go to open it until it locks, it's just very consistent. There's no little spots where it's a little bit harder or a little bit easier. It's just very consistent. Very nice action. But out of these three, it's the least expensive knife. In fact, we actually step up in cost as you move up. So roughly $140. I'm talking retail prices here. $140, around $300 for the Microtech Amphibian, and then $400 to $500, I believe, for a Sebenza. This is a Sebenza 31 MagnaCut steel, and it's got the micarta inlays, so it's not, the bone stock plain Jane version. I could have grabbed maybe my Inkosi, which is more plain Jane, but I grabbed this one, so we're talking about this one. So price goes up. Now, when you talk about, let's just move up the chain here. So aluminum handles on the Amphibian here from Microtech. M390 steel, M390 MK, actually to be exact. Ram-lok, bar lock, locking system, also very, very smooth. Super light deployment, very consistent, very smooth. Not quite as smooth as the Engage, though. There's a little bit of grittiness, and it's one of those things where you would never call this gritty, but when you compare it next to that one, you can tell it's just not quite as smooth. But still, quite smooth in its own regard. This one is made in the USA. Next, we have the Sebenza 31, which out of the three has the worst action, actually. If I slow roll it, you can see it kind of chops around a little bit as it kind of pushes forward and stops and pushes forward. Some of this I could resolve with maybe some better lubrication in there, but it should be good. This is not a super old model. It came out this year, 2023, I believe, its birth date. So it's not something where it's been sitting around for years and all of the grease inside is solidified. It should be good. And it's good action, right? It's good action. It's no Sebenza 21 action, but it's good action. But it doesn't hold a candle to either one of these objectively. I'm not saying compared to other frame locks. I'm just saying between these three, when you're talking action, it is the worst out of the three. Like I said, this one has MagnaCut steel, but S45 or S35 VN steel is very, very common in these. For the plain Jane versions, titanium frame lock, Chris Reeve, he's kind of a staple, a landmark in the knife industry. Also made in the US. I think I did mention that. Maybe I didn't mention that. So objectively, which knife is better? I mean, it'd be pretty simple to say this one. When you talk about materials, when you talk about action, and then when you look at cost, I mean, this is the most cost-effective of all three of these. Wouldn't this one be the coolest one? I have a feeling most of you out there would not agree with that. You would say it isn't. You would either go one of these two. I would guess that most of you would say the Sebenza, right? But why is that? Probably due to intangible reasons outside of quantifiable, objective type things, right? You're not talking necessarily material. You're not talking action. You're not talking any of those things. You're probably just saying Sebenzas are just classic. They are beautiful. They are, they hold a special place in the knife community, historical kind of prevalence. Chris Reeve invented the frame lock. I mean, this model, or this family of models, not the Sebenza 31, is what brought frame locks to the world, right? And I think you all know how important frame locks have been and how popular they've been. So there's a lot to love here, and there's a lot of things to really like about this knife. Their customer service, their warranty, everything is super top-notch. You're supporting an American legacy company. And I think a lot of people take that into account when you're looking at a knife. However, on paper, it doesn't really mean that much when you're talking about performance, materials versus cost. The Amphibian here kind of fits in the middle. It is an American company. It's a legacy company, Microtech. However, the Amphibian's been around for a long time. It's part of the old Microtech catalog, but it doesn't have the significance that something like the Sebenza does. But objectively, is it better than the Sebenza? I don't know. It's cheaper, almost half the cost, smoother action, very well made in the USA. I don't know. What do you think? Let me know. Out of these three, which one do you think is the better knife? Actually, two questions. Which one do you think is objectively better? So trying to strip out all kind of design likes, material likes, history likes, country of origin likes. If we're just talking mechanism, materials versus cost, which one do you think is a better knife? And then the second question is, getting rid of all of that, which one do you think is the better knife? In my opinion, my objective logical brain says this is the one. Like if I was going to just tell a non-knife person out of these three which one they should buy, and I know they're a non-knife person and they're not going to appreciate some of these other things, I would say, yeah, get this Engage. It's excellent materials, excellent knife, super strong lockup. You can beat the crap out of it, and it's not going to break the bank. Anybody else in the knife community, even if they're kind of a novice in the knife community, I would actually go with the Amphibian, not because I think it's actually better than the Sebenza, just I happen to really like Microtech right now. And the design of this is a little more aggressive, which I appreciate. I like strong, aggressive designs, whereas the Sebenza is a little more sleek and classic and simple and clean. So that would be my response, but what would your response be? Which one of these would you say objectively you would recommend to somebody, and which one would you say just unequivocally in your heart that you think is the better knife? I don't know. Let me know down below what you guys think, and I will catch you on the next video.